Okay, the first one we'll tie is this one's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's a TU Special, one of Reg's patterns. He had 2 or 3 flies that were really good patterns. Like, I mean, he had he had dozens and dozens of patterns that worked in given situations. But he had 2 or 3 flies. It didn't matter who you gave it to or what you did with it; it was going to work. And this was one of them.
What was the fly?
It's the TU Special. It should be on the. That's one of the ones on the sheet. He kind of in the there's the write up is with the pattern. I did a no. I took it right out of the article. He kind of says it was a concoction of 3 different flies. I don't know.
How long ago was it now since we lost Reg?
Don't ask me.
Looks like you got more than 3 there, Bert.
Yeah, I got quite a few there.
Quite a few.
Well, there's about 4 or 5 there.
5 years, December 2008.
You should.
Fairly.
Seems longer.
So when you put the tail on this thing, you don't want it as long as the shank, but just about. And the only part of this fly that I never liked was the rib. And I used to tie these commercially for the shop. And one day I was tying them and I was in an especially bad mood. And I broke this rib for about the 5th or 6th time. I quit. I phoned him. I said, I'm coming over to the house. We need to talk. The rib is out of the eye of the peacock's.
Yeah.
And what he wants is he wants all 3 colors to go as the rib. This stuff is fragile as hell. And you would build the fly, and then of course the rib is the last step. You bust a frickin' rib. Well, if I put them in the shop without a rib on them, then he would say, no, I'm not paying you for that one, take it home. So what you do is you take 2, and I got Dennis's tying with me. You take 2 and reverse 1. So take two fibers out of the eye where there's 3 colors. Take 1 and reverse it. That kind of eliminates the weak spot. Okay, so he was on a bit of a kick around this time. He was tying with burlap. It's a really old material that was used for tying flies.
That's just a natural burlap.
This is just the natural burlap, but what he did was he got it and then dyed it, and I believe it was yellow. So it kind of comes out an olive color. This stuff in the water is a lot like seal. It picks up all kinds of little air bubbles, and it really comes to life. When you're tying with this, don't do this. Like, don't grab the material here and pull down, because by the time you get to the end of the fly, you're going to have a ball full of dubbing in your hand and nothing on the hook. So you come around and you grab it.
Are you using double or just single?
Single, just a single strand. Start at the back and work to the front. Then come back again, but not quite all the way. You want to build something of a taper in this. Now, this nonsense here.
So that's dyeing that would just say Ritz?
Yeah. just whatever you could get a hold of. Actually, he used a lot of vineyard dyes. Well, I shouldn't say he. Bernice was responsible for that department mostly. She used a lot of vineyard dyes at the time. They did not see. They did a lot of business with vineyards over the years, and he liked their dyes. God bless you, Reg, is bloody stuff.
That's really fun stuff, isn't it?
He's having fun breaking people.
Well,
So do you twist it at all, or?
Well, you can twist it. I'm not twisting it. I'm just putting it on.
I used to put, just, I had my own little way of doing it. I wasn't going back.
Some guys that cheat and use peacock, just peacock curl. Doesn't look as nice.
Yeah, you can tie whatever you want, so Mr. Phillips, okay?
But in deference to
It's
Reggie,
your fly, you can tie it whatever way you want.
in deference to Reggie, we'll do it the way it's supposed to be done. So once you get to this stage,
You have a scraggly burlap on there.
okay, so you put your peacock sword on the top, and it's got to be as long as the tail. Okay? Now this stuff here is shaped kind of like a triangle, so it's really hard. You can play with it all you want to try and make it do this. It's hard because it's shaped so funny, but you can tease it. So you want a pheasant rump feather, and for this one, if you look at the ones that he tied, he preferred this kind of a light, where's that camera? It's kind of a light green brown.
Hold it up, hold it up.
There,
Back.
there.
There.
It's kind of a light green brown. It's not.
Perfect.
It's not dark. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with this. Barry White was just learning how to tie in those days. Reg wrote in there that you have to double this. I think White came to the shop about 4 or 5 times, and Reg says, "I'm going to tease him on. I'm going to have him on with this." He says, well, "That's okay, fine. I won't say anything." But he wouldn't tell him how to double. And then finally he showed him, and it was fun. They used to talk about that quite a bit. Anyways, I don't know. There's all sorts of book ways of doing this, but the idea is to get that to come back. No big deal.
You had to do it that way.
Well, no, you didn't have to. You could just wrap it on there and then wrap like a son of a gun to make it come back. But
Listen to Mr. Denny, you had to do it that way.
but if you happen to be in my boots and you were tying for the shop, you better know how to do it. Actually, we had a fly in the beginner's fly tying course. We taught how to double in the course. Get out of the way. There. Okay.
How does that rib stand up? Not too bad? On fish?
It stands up pretty good. The thing about this fly is it's really economical. It doesn't take long to tie. If you catch 3 or 4 fish and the rib goes, take a razor blade to it and tie 3 or 4 more. I mean, it's nothing the preferred size was a size 8, which is that's what this is. But he did fish him down to 12, But if you caught them out fishing with it on the lake, normally it was on the size 8 hook. Now this fly was very popular for, well, one obvious reason, it caught fish like crazy. But in the late 70s, the flies that were tied and sold in the shops in this city were predominantly trolled as opposed to casting. So if you were going to sell people flies, it needed to be something that they could troll. And this thing here is, if you learn how to troll a fly properly, this thing is just deadly trolling, especially in the evening. It can be anything from a minnow to a dragonfly. And it does nothing but move and shine in the water. It's a great fly. Did you get it, Dennis?
I'm getting there.
Good.
I got behind with the rib flag.